Accessible pedestrian signals. How do they actually work? And if you were an orientation and mobility specialist, how would you even teach this one? This is part 2 of a little series we're doing on APS devices for orientation and mobility specialists. So if you're an O&M specialist, or if you're just curious about how people with visual impairments cross intersections, this video is for you. Hi, I'm Cassie Maloney. I'm an orientation and mobility specialist. I'm also the founder of Allied Independence. We provide 21st century teaching techniques to all teachers and caregivers who work with people who have visual impairments, so that way we can help your students become more independent without you burning out. Isn't that amazing? And today we're talking all about APS devices. Now, if you don't know what an accessible pedestrian device is, go back and check our last video on that exact subject, where I will walk you through what an APS device is and how it works. But today we're going into how the complex ones work and how I would teach this specific intersection. Actually, how I do teach this specific intersection. This was easy for me. We're coming to like my home turf right now. Come on over and let's get started. It's actually going off right now. In the last video, I shared with you how we like to cross with nearest parallel traffic. And I also walked you through how the pedestrian signals work. This is what we want to do first and foremost. Now, what is nearest parallel traffic? Let's dive into that in a not so noisy environment. So your parallel traffic is going to be the traffic that's along the side of you. Think about your trajectory as a pedestrian and the trajectory of the cars that are going to protect you. The cars that are protecting you are not crossing directly in front of you, shoulder to shoulder. That's perpendicular traffic. So I want to cross this intersection going west. What I'm going to do, I'm going to press my ped button. If I were to stand here to cross, you can clearly see the cars behind me. There are none. I have no way to tell, besides the APS device, if it's actually my turn to cross. So in that case, you would need to rely on the APS device with 100% faith, because you don't have nearest parallel. I don't have any parallel at that point. So if you're talking about the challenges of working with APS devices, a lot of it is it actually going to work? Am I going to have to rely on it fully because there are no parallel cars? And what happens if it doesn't work? And what happens if it's actually a lead pedestrian light like this one, where it's a lead pedestrian indicator, sorry, not light, and I have to go before the cars go? That's not what we were taught to do in school. It's weird. It's a challenge. I still got you covered though, don't worry. But let's go check out a few other intersections and see how those APS devices work, huh? The other challenge that we face as orientation and mobility specialists is that none of the placements are placed in the same place. Say place 3 times fast. All right, so what we're looking at here is there's a ped button that leads down to the intersection. Super great. But in the last video that we just did, both of the ped buttons were on the same pole. No such thing here. In order to get to the next one, you would have to walk across, just fine, and then find that pole, the thicker pole, now has your ped button. But even though the light turned, the ped head didn't. So what exactly does that mean? Well, a few things. A, it could mean that it's broken. B, it could mean that I didn't press the button in time. But what does that mean as far as the laws go, the pedestrian laws? Every state is going to be different. So you're going to have to look that up for your own state to see if it is actually the pedestrians right away if they don't press the button. I have one more that's really fun that I want to get to before the sun goes down. Let's see if we can do it. We made it with enough light for me to show you the craziness. Okay, so we're at a new intersection, right? So behind me is where we came from. If what we wanted to do was cross this same street, we would have to then go find the ped button. Oh, that's right, behind a wall. So again, one of the main challenges of pedestrian heads being the inconsistent placement. So if I wanted to cross this intersection, I would need to go all the way down, and they have these little arms attached out here. So if I want to cross going west, this is where I would touch the button, and then I would line up and get ready to cross. So the main takeaway is while accessible pedestrian signals are very difficult to teach, there are lots of challenges involved. It's not impossible and very prudent for you to stay on top of what is happening around the world with the pedestrian signals, especially as it pertains to your teaching as an orientation and mobility specialist. Don't forget, November 14th, we have an entire CEU webinar on this exact topic. Click the link below in order to join us. But if that time has passed, don't worry. Still click the link below. You'll be on our waitlist to learn about other CEU opportunities.